I'm a faculty at the Department of Data Science and AI in the Vadvai School of Data Science and AI. That's our logo, if you can spot WDS and AI in that. So we have a new, freshly minted, now just 2 years old department, and also an undergrad curriculum in AI and data analytics. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. My own research is in the space of computational biology. I don't know, I think many of you may not like biology, that's why you are in this room. But we typically work a lot in the space of biology, healthcare. I'll tell you a little bit more about the things that we do in our school. We have several exciting centers and so on. I'll just go and please stop me whenever you want and ask me questions. So, we really wanted to build a new AI curriculum. We've been debating this for a long time, but finally we thought the time was right about a couple of years ago to actually bite the bullet and build this new curriculum. This is not just CS added with a few electives and things like that. It is a fundamentally different way of teaching mathematics, mainly. Right? So we have several math courses, including optimization lab and so on. And then a lot of depth in terms of various AI courses and things like that. I'll step you through the curriculum in a little while. But this was mainly because of, the industry shift. A lot of sectors have moved from traditional software to data-driven automation and so on. And a lot of real-world impact you can already start seeing, right? In terms of like language barriers. I don't know if you've seen Sarvam. We should probably play Professor Kamakoti's video at some point. And also, there are a lot of ethical challenges in terms of responsible AI and things like that. So we actually have a Center for Responsible AI that looks into all of these things. And we also think that this is going to evolve very separately from computer science. And this is the right time to be doing this. This is actually a very good video, and
I was also very confused about whether
this is one of our students, Madhav. He's now going into his third year, but I think he captures things very well in this short video.
During Joseph, I was also very confused about whether I should take AIDA here or CS at some other IIT. So, while most other departments involved in a lot of common courses or courses that may not necessarily be relevant in today's world, our curriculum is designed so specifically that every single course adds value to our skill set. For example, in our linear algebra course, we have Python programming assignments. So that will teach us to, kind of involve ML, like think from an ML perspective from the beginning itself. So if you're genuinely interested in pursuing AI or ML, this course is great. People are saying, AI is too specific. You should pick a broader CS, because that will give you more exposure to a lot of different topics. And after coming here, I realized a total of 40% of our total courses are free electives. That means we can choose whatever subject we want to. So even though we may not directly have these kind of core CS concepts in our core curriculum as compulsory courses, if we are genuinely interested in pursuing these courses, we can always opt them as electives. And as an added bonus, you are now no longer forced to study subjects that may not interest you in the general CS perspective. A lot of our professors come from different branches, and so while we are getting exposed to these different professors from different backgrounds, we are also getting exposure to how ML and AI can be used in all these different perspectives. There's a good chance that I'm going to get a prof who's also in the mechanical department that might be pursuing research in that area. And so I can always just reach out to him and say, sir, I want to do a project under you. Could I do that? And further, IITM also offers a feature called an IIIT or an integrated dual disciplinary degree. So you can basically upgrade your BTech to a BTech plus MTech. And you can do the MTech in whichever field you want. I think for me, this is a no-brainer. I would definitely choose AI and data analytics again. I was personally very impressed by the professors and faculty here. I was very impressed with the course. I was very impressed with the campus. I really enjoyed my first year, and I couldn't regret the decision any lesser.
Okay, I will move on, but if you already have any questions, I'm happy to answer. The point is we designed the curriculum from the ground up. And you will see that we have introductory courses on computational physics, computational chemistry, and computational biology, where this is not just plain teaching you chemistry, physics, which you've probably learned a lot over the JEE days, but with a focus on machine learning. And for example, in computational chemistry, you'll be taught concepts that align with computational drug discovery or computational materials discovery and things like that. So really combining the domain in a very deliberate fashion.
Sir, how do you compare it with the mathematics and computing? Because you said more of mathematics here.
There's a lot of mathematics.
How do you compare with, there is another course, mathematics and computing, right, in IIT? Mathematics and computing.
Oh, in IIT, yeah. So that may not have, I don't know what is the level of AI focus in that course, right? So this course is also actually quite math heavy. We have, 4 or 5 different math courses, including the optimization lab and so on. So because the main realization is that this was, AI and ML requires slightly different mathematics from what computer science requires. So which means that you can't just do CS and easily do, you still need additional mathematical background to do all of those. And in fact, even in our interdisciplinary dual degree, which is open to students from all branches, right? So this is basically in the 5th semester, they take a move towards this dual degree program. In that they are exposed to two strong heavy math courses. There's the mathematical foundations of data science and foundations of machine learning. Again, math. Right? So there is a much stronger mathematical background that is necessary for this. And the other interesting part is that this is also taught with the idea of AI/ML in mind. It is taught with that clear goal. It is not generally teaching you mathematics. If you go to any other IIT or you go to even in IIT Madras, if you walk into any of the classic courses, you will start mathematics in a very traditional fashion, right? But here the mathematics is focused with an eye on the engineering applications and so on. I'll talk to you a little bit more about the courses as well, right? So obviously first year we have foundational courses in mathematics, statistics and basic sciences. But then the AI part gets very interesting, right? So we have courses on introduction to machine learning, introduction to AI, deep learning, all with labs. And most importantly, we have something called MLOps lab. So this is exactly how people build and scale solutions in the industry. Right? So you build a model, you slightly tweak it, the data coming in that slightly changes and you tweak the model. Everything else gets updated on that basis, and you have a new, and the whole pipeline is executed, and you have the new model that's ready to take in new data and make predictions and so on. This is exactly what happens in the industry, and we actually have industry folks who come and teach these courses and so on. So this is something that we are very particularly proud of, that it's a very, very industry aligned curriculum. We of course have several advanced topics, application selectives. In fact, we encourage students to pick certain domains. For instance, we have 40% electives, but some of those electives are like to be picked from a basket. You have to pick either speech technologies or computer vision and things like that. And you should do a couple of courses in each of those things, right? And there is actually enough space in the curriculum to do both of them as well. So you can really become a generalist, but you can try to really specialize by doing more courses in a single domain of your interest and so on. And our department actually has faculty from 9 or 10 different departments. Right? We were originally, I was, for example, in biotechnology. We had people from chemical engineering, computer science, management studies, civil engineering, and so on. And all of us are now in this department, and the research that we do and the teaching that we do is very, very interdisciplinary. Right? You get exposed to a lot of things, and as Madhav was saying, you can actually do projects in civil engineering, chemical engineering, whatever it is whatever domain you really want to apply your data science skills to. We of course also have responsible AI and so on. And one interesting thing, I think this you must have heard yesterday or in other conversations as well. The 6th semester is almost literally empty. We have only electives which we expect you to move to the other semesters. So you have nothing to do in the 6th semester, which means that you can spend, once you finish your 5th semester, you can head off for an internship at an industry for almost 8 months. Or you could also head out for a research internship, and you can spend almost 8 months there, right? So because right from December all the way till next August, you have full 8 months that you can spend on an internship, and this is something that we hope will empower students. And we are also very big on entrepreneurship. We had lots of discussions yesterday, and it was very refreshing to see that 30% of the students were thinking of entrepreneurial careers after their BTech and so on. And we have a compulsory course on entrepreneurship for all students coming into IIT Madras. But that's, of course, is not all. We also have additional workshops, and now we are also in the process of setting up a venture studio. Of course, we have a very successful research park where you can learn from the masters who've actually been there, done that, Some of them succeeded, some of them failed, but they've learnt a lot through this process. You have access to all of these people when you come to IIT Madras. This video is, let me not play all the videos. Okay, curriculum is fine. So this is Manish Gupta.
Similar to how computer science evolved as its own kind of independent field from affiliative areas like mathematics, electrical engineering, and so on. We are similarly experiencing the emergence of AI almost as a separate discipline within itself.
IIT, like, when will be available?
I'll be around. So what's the time? When do we need to finish the session? 3. 3? No, we have enough time.
AI
I'll take care of it.
artificial intelligence is a technology that makes machines, computer systems, basically act in an intelligent manner. In recent years, been really making progress at an amazingly fast pace. It has even been used to accelerate scientific discovery. An example is this AlphaFold program from Google DeepMind. So given that AI is being used to transform every industry, today there are so many companies which are looking for deep AI experts to basically improve their products, improve their services. There's never been a better time to be an AI researcher, to be an AI practitioner. There are so many exciting problems that you can work on and make a difference to the world at large. You can actually have a positive impact on lives of billions of people through your work in the field of AI.
Yeah, so we reached out to industry leaders as we were setting up this curriculum, and this is what they had to say on the importance of AI as a separate curriculum. And we have several centers. We have a center for responsible AI. We have a center for
This technology.
we have a center for integrative biology and systems medicine, where we've been working on the Genome India project and vaccine design projects, all from a data-centric perspective. And you can trust me that you don't need enough biology. You don't need too much biology to really master this. Ultimately, you can pick up all the biology through our own curriculum. We have an introduction to computational biology that will give you enough of a background. And we've routinely had students from mechanical engineering, chemical engineering coming and working on actual real healthcare problems. We have some really exciting data sets from our collaborators, both in India and abroad.
They take this IIIT data science and then work.
Yeah. So that is typically through the IIIT data science.
My school will be involved.
We also will have our own regular AIDA students can also do these projects, because we have what are known as undergraduate research credits. So students can do up to 3 full course worth of research projects during their curriculum. And of course, they also have a final bachelor's project and things like that. So in all of these things, they can explore research. And this is a center that's focused on manufacturing. Right, and enabling AI to improve manufacturing, especially in MSMEs in India. And this was established in partnership with Walmart, and Professor Raghu, who heads this center, is like a very renowned scientist in this domain. And we work very closely with a lot of industries on this. And this is on transportation. So any of you who have some interest in civil engineering, networks, and so on. So this is focused on transportation, to make transportation more efficient, make predictions, and even all the campus GPS campus buses are all serviced by the Mint Center at IIT Madras. I will skip through some of these things. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about this. Since last year, the Ministry of Education has been setting up centers of excellence in AI across the country, and they set up 4 centers of excellence in 4 different topics. One was AI for agriculture, which was set up at IIT Ropar, and then AI for smart cities, which was set up at IIT Kanpur, and AI for healthcare was set up at IISc Bangalore, and AI for education was set up at IIT Madras. And the idea is to basically focus on foundational literacy and numeracy. And but the main strength at IIT Madras is that we are building our own models which can actually do translations and service almost 15 plus Indian languages. We are actually looking at all 22 languages listed in the constitution, but we currently have models that work very well for maybe around 15 languages. And I'll just play Mitesh's video. It will give you a little bit more of a perspective.
People should not have to make a choice between going digital, right, and staying regional. And that's what at stake here. Like today, if most of Wikipedia is available in English, how does a student in, say, some remote part of Kerala, who does not speak or converse in English so well, access a document on Battle of Panipat? Right? He wants to do a research on that, and it makes sense if that document is available in his regional language. For India, solving the language technology problem is a big issue, right? Whether it is NGOs working with the grassroots level, or if it's government trying to reach the masses, all of this requires language technology to overcome certain barriers. So that's what we decided to focus on. And we started off with this mission that we should have AI technology working for all the 22 scheduled languages of India, which cover more than 95% of the population, and make sure that people have access to digital resources in their own language or digital services in their own language, right? Can we at least build this bridge through translation, through speech recognition, other technologies, which make sure that this content becomes accessible to a different demographic who does not speak that language. But the India context is very fine. And let me take this example. It's one of my favorite examples. If you think of Pani Puri, right? What the Pani Puri is varies from South India to North India, West India to India, right? I mean, what are the ingredients inside it, and what you call it also, right? It's called by different names. Now, if you ask any rhythm about it, the answer depends upon who is asking, right? So, and this has to be really taken care of. And it will only happen if we have the right amount of data, right, collected from a diverse audience, and the human preference is collected at scale. That this is what I expect in the answer, as opposed to some other answer that was given. There is no open source blueprint available about how to go about collecting data at scale for such large number of languages. Right? Because no one knows that if you want to collect data from 1 lakh speakers, what's the right way of doing it? Given that we have walked on this path, what is important for us is to make sure that can we help other such efforts, right? Say AI for X, we have done AI for Bharat, but can we do AI for X in other multilingual regions of the world? We are collecting voice data from more than 500 districts in India. And it's very inclusive data collection, right? So these participants come from different demographics, different age groups, different genders, different education levels, different occupations, and so on. Right? So in our lab, we're also...
So I will just pause on that video, but just to let you know, Professor Mitesh is one of the star faculty in our department. He co-founded AI for Bharat in 2019. And Sarvam, which some of you must have heard of, was a startup that came out of AI for Bharat. And we work very closely with Sarvam still, and Mitesh was listed as one of the top 100 influential people in AI for 2025, and one of the very few academics in that as well from India. Okay, and this is Aravind, who is the CEO and co-founder of Perplexity, and he is an alum as well. I think he has some very nice points to make about AI and how IIT Madras works.
Term AI is overloaded, but the best way to understand it is, can you make machines think and reason like humans and do tasks that humans do in order to make our lives easier? Because AI is all about collecting valuable data and using that data to further improve itself, setting up that data flywheel. So it's going to create a world where we can potentially build extremely valuable products and businesses with very few people, and each individual person is going to be a lot more empowered to achieve more than just like traditional jobs. And getting into it sooner than later is in your interest, because that way you can be the part in shaping their future and also being part of the future. At one point, one of my hospital neighbors told me about the machine learning contest. So I spent like a whole weekend just trying to beat the score. I started like bottom of the table, and by the end of the thing I came at the top. There was a lot of trial and error. There was no actual understanding of the algorithms on my end. But I wanted a proper rigorous treatment for the course with all the math, and that's how I took the machine learning class in the computer science department. Ravindra's done some amazing research in RL with Andy Barlow, the founding father of reinforcement learning. And even today, like his work on MDP for homework systems is considered like a good work that people are studying. The way the academic system works is a reference letter from a professor who's had successful students in the past matters more than anything else, because they can at least calibrate you to the previous students they've seen. Like computer science did not exist for a long time until it became a separate department. And now it is the most sought after department. When I was starting at IIT, everybody wanted to be in computer science. And now I think that's what's going to happen to AI too. Like 10 years from now, whether the top ranked person in JE would want to be in AI, not even computer science, because it's even more focused on creating value. It would be amazing if the AI that's used by all the students within the campus is built by another student.
So that's basically what we want to do. We want to have people go and build these things. We just don't want our students to be consumers of AI, right? And that's the vision we have even as a nation. So because I was part of the CBSE task force that designed the computational thinking and AI curriculum for classes 3 to 8. And we're also introducing that in NCERT is introducing that in classes 9 to 12. So we are introducing basics of AI, computational thinking and so on right from schools. And I think this is a great opportunity to actually do a specialization in this field and dig very deep into the math, into various domains and see if you can make applications that are very close to your own interest, in a domain of your own interest. So that's it. So if you have any questions, I'm around. I'm here during the tea as well. And yeah, but I think we have time. We have another 15 minutes. So please ask me if you have any questions.
Sir, thank you for the details. I saw the curriculum across all the 4 years, but then this field is rapidly evolving, and we have Gen A, we have quantum computing. So how are we going to cover in the UG, or we are thinking about in the post-graduation or something?
Yeah, so even though the field is rapidly evolving, the fundamental math stays the same. And I'm sure we will start doing more electives. We already have an elective on LLMs and Gen AI and things like that. And so we will continue. We also have an elective on quantum machine learning and things like that. So we will keep adding such courses. And there is so much of flexibility in the curriculum, which I think is the biggest part, right? I think you have about 3 or 4 professional electives and 6 free electives. So that's about... we just did the calculation a few days back because we were revising the curriculum. We have about 161 credits of electives out of 402. Yeah, so, I mean, whatever is offered from time to time, right? So we have faculty in different domains. So we just hired some faculty in robotics who's working on self-driving cars and things like that. So he might want to offer an elective in that space. So the whole spectrum, right? You will keep having these electives depending upon what faculty are there. And we can always also invite people from the industry to offer some of these electives if there's something of specific interest and so on. But basically, we have very agile curriculum. The way all IITs work, in fact, is that we keep revising our curriculum on a very regular basis. Right? We don't have any AICT approval or anything to go through, right? So we have our internal Senate and we have a board of academic courses. So we rapidly, in fact, we have already revised what you see on the website is going to be revised in a few weeks because we've discussed with the students and we decided to move some of the science courses a little later when they can appreciate it better, having learned a bit of the AI and so on. So we are already tweaking and adjusting the courses based on feedback and so on. So we will keep doing that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically a question of depth. Right, so that student would have definitely done more of the theoretical computer science and maybe a little bit more of operating systems or things like that. Right, so we have one course on introduction to computer systems, and that gives the students enough of an exposure to then go deeper. Right, but definitely if you're looking for something that's if you want to compare in terms of overall computer science skills, maybe the computer science person may be slightly ahead. But if you look at AI skills, definitely the one, even if you've done a few electives, it's very difficult to sort of do all the math electives and you have to really carefully structure your curriculum. It is not impossible, I would say. You could still do a lot of the courses that the AI people are doing. But to actually squeeze in all of those courses is only theoretically possible, but practically infeasible simply because of the number of years and the number of slots and so on. And you also have certain prerequisites. Right, if you haven't done some of the ML math courses, you cannot directly jump into some of the, like say deep learning course or things like that, right? But that said, even the computer science department has some AI electives and so on. And that will definitely be there. So I would say the answer is probably simple. If you really love math, I think you should take AI. right? Because AI definitely has heavier math than you have in computer science, right? And also assuming that you have a lot of interest in that kind of math and the kind of problems that AI can be applied to. AI is much more, focused on applying to domains, right? Whereas, you can be a pure theoretical machine learning person or a theoretical computer scientist from computer science. Yeah.
You said all faculties are from varied domains, right? So that means faculties are also exploring AI in the course of
Oh, these are faculty who've been working on AI in different domains, right? So, I've been in biotech and I've been working on AI in biotech, like networks, models, and AI to solve biological problems. We've had faculty like Professor Geeta Krishnan, who's been working on AI and transportation networks and so on for the last, decade plus. So we were all working on AI in different departments, and so we all came together and started working together in this department. It made sense for us to do that. Yeah, so what we already are seeing is, of course, the internships and placements haven't fully happened for this department yet, but what we see for the IEEE data science, right? So these are students from, say, mechanical or chemical engineering and so on, and their placements are pretty much on par with what you see in computer science and things like that. So we will definitely expect these people to do a little bit better than what we see in computer science. Assuming that these are going to be the hottest jobs in the next few years. So we are just enrolling the third batch. So our senior most batch is in their third year. The department started on 30th Jan 2024.
How do you compare with IIT Roorkee AI and data science as well as AI and IIT Kharagpur? How do you compare with this?
I haven't done a formal comparison of that, but
Because these three IITs started latest AI.
Yes. But I think we have a lot more mathematical depth, and again, our interest in
You three coordinate form a syllabus or separate?
no, completely independent. And we also had a very different vision, right? So we wanted to focus on, because we are a very interdisciplinary department to start off. In many of these places, these departments started out of computer science, right? Whereas here we had only 5 people from computer science. The remaining 10 people were from other departments, right? And so our focus is a lot more on, the domains and the applications and so on.
They're different.
Very different.
So what is the career roadmap for the AA stream? What is going to happen after 10 years? It's rapidly evolving into this stream itself.
Yes. Yeah, but we are just anticipating that it will become as big or even bigger than computer science, right? It will become originally, if you see, even now in a lot of US universities, you see it will be EECS. Computer science is not a separate department, it is part of electrical engineering. But in a lot of other universities, you see that CS has become a separate department. And similarly, now you have in MIT, you have CSAI as a separate department from computer science. And I think in the future, you will again see AI as becoming a separate department and a separate course, right? And because the specialization seems to be the need of the hour. So that's what it seems to be evolving. Things could change. Things are changing rapidly. Every day something new is happening in the domain of AI. And but I think at least this definitely is not just a fad, because it is mathematically very, very sound. Right, and even if for some reason things go wrong, the mathematics and all of that is built will still be useful in whatever other domains we start applying, or however else we reshape to for example, there is like big regulatory challenges imposed, right? Somebody starts banning AI, right, or things like that, right? So anything can happen, and even there I think the amount of mathematics that has gone in and so on will stand the student in great stead as they pivot to other jobs and things like that. So I don't think there is any legitimate reason to worry about this. And at least the way things are headed now, it looks like we are in for another 10-20 years of AI driven stuff, right? So
other department has this exchange program something, this department you have an exchange program.
so what do you mean by an exchange program?
They were talking about other
6 months they can do out of semester, 6 months they can do 1 semester in other.
Oh yeah, yes, that is for all of IIT. There's nothing specific to any department or anything like that. So any student coming to IIT Madras can do a semester exchange.
Branching cannot change, right? That is not possible.
Branch change is not possible.
So that's only possible in Delhi.
Okay, yeah, many of the IITs carefully stopped branch change because it is putting too much pressure on the students. So I think you should, and I think branch change is most irrelevant in a place like IIT Madras because you have 40% electives anyway. So you can still do whatever branch you wanted to by no matter what your branch is, right? So you can, and we have so many minors and so many interdisciplinary dual degrees. We have at last count 13 interdisciplinary dual degrees. And by the time you folks come to your third year, we will probably have 16 or 17 different interdisciplinary dual degrees.
But AI people, what other interdisciplinary courses can take?
We can do robotics, quantitative finance. Those are already very, very popular with our students. And we have computational engineering and so many other things. We also have like biomedical engineering, all of those things. And in fact, our own department is offering an AA for healthcare minor, which is not meant for our students because they'll anyway do those courses. They can do it as electives and so on. But for other students, from students from other departments, they can do a minor in AA for healthcare and or like theoretical machine learning and things like that. So we also have minor courses from our department.
So what are the minor courses available for AID students?
Lots of minors. So every department has some minors, right? So all other minors are available. Our own minor will be part of that major. So it won't be a minor for them. So, but they can also do this AA for healthcare, theoretical machine learning, specializations and things like that. So because they have all these electives slots to use up. Because a minor is only 3 courses, right? So, and you have about I think 12 or 13 elective courses to play around with it. You can literally do two minors if you wanted.
How many people do you take for AA?
AA is about 52, 53. Last 2 batches have been around 50 plus supernumerary.
So the way the AA changes, right, is changing very rapidly. So rather than studying AA, it is better to do AA, right? So how soon the students in AA will get access to the research labs and working with other?
Oh yeah, right from, I mean, we don't restrict any students. So I've had interns from first year, second year, third year and so on. So students can always come in and do internships in the research lab. There is no real restriction. But the most meaningful time to start it is after second year, when you had some reasonable exposure to various topics and so on. So it's easy to jump in and do real research projects and things like that.
So AI is eating computer science. In a way, in due course of time, this branch will be more prominent than CSE. You feel that way?
I mean, it's, I hope one batch doesn't cannibalize the other, but we really want people who clearly understand. For example, Madhav, right? I think he's a very good example, and we find that with a lot of AIDA students. They were very clear with their interests. They wanted to do AA rather than CS. Right? They discerned what is the difference between CS and AA and picked AIDA over CS. And I'm sure it's going to be like that, right? Somebody likes Gulab Jamun, somebody likes Rasagulla, it's going to be like that. There'll be some students who would really like doing AI, and there are other students who will like the generality of computer science and so on.
Industry perspectives. In a way, it's going to dominate than the...
That's what a lot of people are saying. Yes, I mean, that's what Arvind was saying and Manish was saying. So we have some industry experts who definitely think that way.
What is the overlap between BS maths and AI? I mean, a student who takes electives, AI electives with BS maths.
What do you mean BS maths?
BS maths is a new course which.
Oh, okay. No, I think the overlap will be less, right? So that will be, a lot more. See, those courses are focused more on higher education and things like that, right? So the pathway will be not that. A BS in general is more catering towards higher education and so on. Like somebody who really wants to do research, build new tools, algorithms in that domain, but from a very theoretical perspective. Whereas here it's more about building solutions, building other things. So I'm sure there is quite a bit of divergence there. So that's the same thing I think she asked, right? So so that is from the math department, right? Yeah. So. Yeah, so as I said, right, there are so many electives that you can really mix and match and do, various kinds of degrees at IIT Madras. I still, even I think we haven't fully figured out, what are all the possibilities, just because there is so much flexibility in the curriculum. So, and we are very open to have students from other departments sit in the AIDA courses and things like that, right? So almost all our courses, about 10 to 15% of the students will come from outside the department. So, there will be a way to get exposed to all of these. And the other thing is, all departments will also start offering. Math department itself will start offering some electives in, deep learning and things like that over a period of time. So, all of these things are going to have a big impact on how the students study. So, and in fact, yesterday Professor Kamakoti was very vocal about, he was encouraging everybody to skip CSDA and go and pick engineering physics instead. Because, quantum is going to be like really crucial and things like that. So, so I would say if you really like math or chemistry, maybe you can focus on data science, or even biology for that matter, right? But if you really love physics and so on, one option could definitely be engineering physics, because that's like a great option. But I think, if you're coming to IIT Madras, you cannot go wrong in any way. Just because of the amount of flexibility we built into the curriculum and the overall ecosystem, right? Did they have a chance to go to CFI yet?
Yes.
Yes.
How many of you have already done your CFI tour?
Yeah.
How many have not done?
Oh, okay. You should do CFI. That's the only reason to come to the IIT Madras tour.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll wind up.
Yeah. So you should have a real look at CFI, and that's really where the students learn. That's where they, get their hands dirty and learn a lot.
You went to the CFI tour? No. Yeah. Okay. So,
Professor will be available for high tea. If you have any doubts, you can
Yeah. So I think the next session is about to start here. I'll be outside and I can catch you over high tea and have a chat. Thank you all.
One second. Can we please thank Professor?
Come on.
one moment of our end.
Thanks.
So one second. Let me give you some house rules. So here we'll continue with CEM. Okay, so those of you are interested, the 3 o'clock tour will start. So if you've already registered, go for it. If you've not registered, this will be the last tour. So please tell the volunteers that you want to go.
Only students.
Only students.
Yeah.
And all of you, please be back at TTJ main auditorium by 3:45.
What's in TTJ after this?